he missed like 2 layups right there at the rim. I don't know.
Yeah. How do you miss layups when you're 7'9"?
Yeah, I mean, and why are you not like just dunking everything? Does it hurt? Does it?
Yeah. Well, but, I mean, like again, his movement pattern is very mechanical and kind of like clumsy. And when you're talking about somebody that tall, like the stress of your movement and what that's going to do over time is big. I mean, there's a reason most 7 foot plus guys have had injury histories.
Yeah.
The body's not really made for high level activity when you're that size, when you're that big. All the the biomechanical dynamics are different.
He has some French ties there. Okay, now he was initially listed at 7'7", but now whatever.
Measured, not weighed.
Measured. They measured again.
Weighted guy, he's 2 inches taller.
And now he's 7'9". So we're looking at some highlights here. I want you to assess some of his highlights here. Okay, so
yeah,
you see him coming down the court here. How does he move to you?
Very bad.
Very bad.
I hate the movement.
But I mean, he's 17, 18. Can that change?
No.
No.
No,
kind of are what you are.
Very big on movement patterns are what they are. They don't change. They can be refined slightly. But like if you're like a guy that runs on the the balls of your feet, you're always gonna be a guy that runs that way. If you're a guy that runs flat-footed, or like you're running with like ski shoes on, like you're always gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
I don't like his movement at all. He's not fluid. He's not athletic. Everything seems really robotic. He looks like he's destined to play like a villain in like a horror movie, like chasing white people in the forest with some shitty cabin.
I didn't like those. He missed like 2 layups right there at the rim. I don't know.
Yeah. How do you miss layups when you're 7'9"?
Yeah, I mean, and why are you not like just dunking everything? Does it hurt? Does it?
Yeah. Well, but I mean, like again, his movement pattern is very mechanical and kind of like clumsy. And when you're talking about somebody that tall, like the stress of your movement and what that's going to do over time is big. I mean, there's a reason most 7 foot plus guys have had injury histories.
Yeah.
The body's not really made for high level activity when you're that size, when you're that big. All the the biomechanical dynamics are different. And so I think that this guy looks more like a lumbering oaf than an athlete. And when you like the defining thing that like when you look at like tall guys that are successful and to a degree somewhat durable, they move like smaller men.
Yeah.
Like their body mechanics, like like Giannis, he doesn't move like a big person at all.
No.
I mean, what gives you a lot of hope about Wemby is despite his height, he just moves fluidly. He kind of just gracefully moves around the court. And that's not what you see with this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. He's back in there now. Yeah, but like that's the first thing that I look for is the movement. That's why it's the first thing I asked about. Sure. I haven't seen him take a shot yet. It's everything at the rim, which probably should be. And IMG, here goes the rebound and layup. IMG is like a powerhouse for high school, in football and basketball, probably in other sports too.
Yeah.
So all of these guys that are on the court with him are whatever, 4-star, 5-star prospects. So even though I want them to pass him the ball more, like run the offense through him,
they're gonna do their thing.
They're gonna do their thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So look at that score, 63-14.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other team they're playing. They don't look the part of a good team.
Yeah.
They look like a very average high school team.
But, I wonder what is IMG's schedule like full of, because they're always, with those. I know sometimes they play like the Oak Hills and things like that, but I'm talking about their regular schedule. Is it against regular high schools? That's not fair if that's the case.
They'll play games here or there, and so when I first got to Trinity Prep, we ended up playing IMG.
Oh yeah,
like twice, but we didn't know who the hell they were. Like we were looking to pick up some games, and we're like, the IMG, let's go play them. We had no idea. Hicksonball was just down from St. Louis. And the first time we played them, they had Ronaldo Balkman on the team, who was in the NBA.
Yeah.
And then the second year, we were so bold, we played them again, and they had Torian Green, who played for the Gators, and another guy that ended up playing at Penn State. They were not, and they weren't close to what they are now.
Yeah.
They had one or two really good guys, but that was the rest of the guys. What I suspect, though, and I know it's this way at Montverde, they'll have multiple teams. So that they may not, you may play like an IMG team that could be their second or third team, and they might play a schedule more like local high school type schedule, statewide schedule than a national schedule, and then they'll have like their premier team, which is going to all be probably Division I level guys, and they'll go play Montverdes and those types.
Yeah, apparently this
teams.
is the premier team.
Yeah. So definitely can do that as well. I mean, a 7'9" guy. I mean, we were talking before the show. I mean, nobody in the NBA has ever been that tall. You've had like 7'6", maybe 7'7", but 7'9". I mean, that's something that hasn't happened before. And it just it depends. I mean, can he stay healthy enough? Will his mobility be sufficient enough to, in combination with his size and length, have some sort of impact in an NBA game? I would definitely say that he has to develop some ability to shoot to have any hope in the NBA. I mean, what we saw here was just some putbacks and stuff around the basket.
Well, wouldn't you agree, for a guy like this who has a raw skill set but has the size, shouldn't he be one of the main ones that takes the development route, not go to college, but take one of those exterior routes?
Yeah. I would think so.
Because to be bogged down with at Florida with the classes and
all that sort of stuff. I mean,
even the funky college gameplay. I mean, I know we had the two giants this year that did pretty well. I mean, whatever.
Edey and Klingen.
Edey and Klingen, but I guess.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm not a big believer in college basketball as a good developmental tool for pros to begin with. And so, this guy would probably be better served getting in a good developmental situation. But I mean, I'm not here to say he doesn't have talent, but it is like, who wants to take the project on? Like, and what's that route? I mean, does he go to like the G League? Is that the route? Or he's obviously not NBA ready, and does he go overseas? Now he's a Canadian guy. I mean, it could be better served if he was maybe a European guy where you could kind of get in their pro system that way. And maybe that's still the best route for him, or that may be where he ends up if he can't cut it in the NBA. But, I don't know. Going to UF is a curious choice. But, again, we don't know anything about this guy. Like, we don't know if he loves basketball. We know somebody's, like whatever. He might want to enjoy college life, and maybe he's a bit of an academic guy or whatever, and he just wants that experience.
You know who he kind of looked like? What's the talk? Is it Bojan? Tobias Harris?
Yeah.
Right?
Toby and Bobby. Yeah, Boban.
Boban.
Yeah.
Boban is what? He's 7 what?
I think he's 7'3", 7'4". He's up there.
He's up there.
Not this.
And he moves rough as well.
Yeah, super mechanical.
They kind of, I know he kind of aged a little bit, but they kind of played him off out of the NBA like rotation.
Yeah.
Like the way the NBA is played now.
Yeah.
With the hunting for the switch, you kind of just,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think, I mean, like, if you're this guy, like, you really are going to be curious to see the development of Zach Edey and Donovan Klingen.
Yeah.
Because and I didn't realize, I mean, Edey's supposedly like 7'4", but Klingen, I think, measured close to 7'2".
Yeah.
And both of those guys, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the NBA because we don't have a lot of those guys.
Right.
There's a couple of great centers, but like those two guys are raw in their own way. Actually, like Edey is a much stronger player than Klingen, like physically stronger. He has a clearer like offensive purpose to his game in the sense that he's going to get down on the block, and he's got defined robotic moves that are not going to be affected, and he's going to get those shots off. Klingon, to me, moves better athletically, laterally, just has a more fluid athleticism to his movements. But he doesn't have as refined or defined an offensive game as Edie does.
Yeah.
But that might work in his favor because I don't know that there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to spend a lot of time throwing the ball into a post guy.
Yeah, anyhow.
And Klingon operating kind of off of alley-oops and rim runs and kind of emerging from the dunker spot, it may be an easier fit in an NBA game than to, and I don't think that's where to me Edie's movement patterns are not great. I don't think he has sort of an instinctive fluidity to just find spaces or get to balls and make plays. And I think that to me, he's almost like a player that you have to service. You have to get him the ball in his spots and do that. In an NBA game, I don't think he's that good that a lot of teams are going to want to set their team up to make sure he gets paint touches. Or if your guy maybe starts coming off the bench or something, and you got to find a way to impact the game. And that's why I'm a little bit higher on Klingon overall. But if you look at the final, Edie got his numbers against Klingon. I mean, Klingon didn't shut him down, didn't horribly impact him at all. But I do think that the fluidity and a little bit of the versatility makes him a better NBA prospect. This guy for me right now is behind both. But Edie started at IMG. He finished high school at IMG.
Okay.
I think he's also a Canadian, Edie.
Yeah, he is.
And I think at some point he made his way down to IMG, prior to going to Purdue.
Yeah.
And part of his developmental track was that.
Find this guy. Find Edie. I mean, this guy should find Edie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what he should do. That's definitely what he should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that those 2 summers that Embiid spent with Olajuwon really helped.
Yeah.
And then whatever fucking Jokic is doing, I mean.
Whatever he's doing.
Whatever he's doing.
He's taking tips from his horses.
It's interesting because when you watch last season, of course, it's Jokic and Embiid, right, versus the other centers. But it's how they, the height of Victor, didn't affect them at all. Embiid scored 70 on Victor, and then you had Jokic. But to see Victor, the way, Bam looked like a inferior player against the height of Victor. Really, so if you don't have that offensive skill set that Embiid and Jokic have,
yeah.
My point of bringing that up is maybe these guys. There's only 2 of those guys that I named, right? If you got 25, 26 other centers you're going against, if your height can disturb those other big guys in any kind of way,
yeah,
that could be a plus as well.
But again, you get the problem is not just that. So you're gonna also again be put in pick and roll and some switches, and you're also gonna probably, because of the way he moves, have to play under pick and roll coverage.
Yeah.
And so, guys can shoot. Now, the one thing, and that's where Wemby's, truly amazing in one of the many ways. But, he distorts what an open shot is.
Yeah.
Because even if he's going to play under, or even if he's off the ball to a certain degree, there's a range that he could be off the ball and still block jump shots.
But that's athleticism coming with that.
I agree that.
These guys.
Yeah. This guy does not appear to have.
Yeah, this guy.
Yeah, no, and that's why I agree that that's what makes him so extraordinary is that again you think, okay, big tall guy, whatever, athletic, fluid, blocking a bunch of shots at the rim, but it's the blocks that he makes on perimeter shots.
Yeah, because they're putting him in action
those
too.
Those are deeply unsettling because if you get in the mind of a shooter. How many times is it, a guy catch it and shoot it and whatever, his rhythm, he knows. You begin to feel, muscle memory, what open is and when you can pull. And suddenly when that guy's on the floor, you got to start second-guessing what open is.
Yeah.
And you got to start playing where every time I catch, I got to know where he is.
And that disturbs field goal percentages and all that.
Then you're distracted and you're not going to be able to play at your optimal, shoot at the highest level that you can. And so,
100%.
That's a huge factor. So, again, I don't see that type of athlete here. The reality is, though, he's probably 4 to 6 inches taller than Wemby. So, can he find a way to, with that extra 4 to 6 inches, does that, bring the athleticism close enough or no? My gut instinct is no. based on the limited footage we've seen here. But that's kind of the struggle.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.